Thomas. Hey, Thomas.
Hi, Isaac. Hi. It would be something I would like to look at together. I hope it's a question. I hope I can put it into in words. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you perfect.
Yeah. Okay, great. Um, I've been
Is
by
my sound
myself.
is my sound okay?
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I've been by myself for 2 weeks and I'm doing a lot of inquiring and meditation. And there's something which I don't really trust myself with. For example, there are these. uh, there's this recognition of peace and moments of bliss. For example, I go blissful to sleep and then I wake up very blissful, and then I think, oh, I want to see my girlfriend. Or in my dreams, this peace shows up as falling in love,
Mhm.
and and maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'm not really trusting myself in it. It feels like this system has learned that like peace and love means a connection with a woman,
Mhm.
and I don't. Yeah, for example, I'm here. I feel this. I'm by myself. My system. I feel it's right for my system. My girlfriend wants me to come back home, and I don't really trust myself in like if I feel this love, for example, for her, how it feels a bit. I don't trust myself. Yeah, I don't know if you can follow my question, but it's
Mhm.
there's some confusion around it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. To me, we know that all experience is temporary, and we can't hold on to anything. We can't hold on to this bodying activity. And yet, that's life, you could say, is that. And within life, enjoying love and companionship is, beautiful. And it's easy to kind of then lose track of what's deeper than that. I don't think that it's inherently a problem. I think that it's, all relating actually is going to come with dealing with what's left of unconscious patterns. So it'll be blissful at times and it'll be,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it'll be an opportunity to surf what's left of old trauma, old information, old conditioning. And to me, it's just getting clear on that the primary interest is resting as who you've always been.
Mm.
And within that, enjoying life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel when we're sitting together that it's like
Mm.
it's I can feel it more clear. It's just I feel it's like touching home base again, and from there I would like, yeah, just share love. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Knowing definitely that, you know, patterns are going to play.
yeah, and I think that's was the yeah, more a thought or fear that like in stepping back into relating, then this interest or this love will be overshadowed.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting how there can be a deep loving and then there's a touch and all of a sudden, we're in all the automatic unconscious movements of survival of,
Yeah.
you know, so, but it seems as long as the primary interest is knowing who you are, then all of that is just opportunities. It's not, yeah.
Actually, I had an interesting experience here. But even I was here by myself. I even got in a fight with my girlfriend while I was like, like in way somewhere else. But and there was a lot of stuff going on. And then I could see this piece was not touched by all this turmoil. It was like
Absolutely.
it was,
Yeah.
and I could see that there was is like a focus on world, so to speak. And then, but if from there, even this turmoil and all these things can happen. And
Hmm.
I think that was really
Absolutely.
important thing to realize.
Yeah, that's clear. I mean, that's clarity. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you serve that? Like when you're with people who have different interests, still like my interest is peace and love and I like to relating. For example, I have with my girlfriend, but her interest is more like love me, and that's
Mhm.
fine. And but it's like it's yeah. So I'm curious, what is your experience with that? Like
You know, definitely adds another dimension when there's a common interest in truth. But love is just that love that flows. I mean, like I'm spending time with family at the moment, and there's a love of just being a granddad and a dad and all that. And then it's
yeah,
like stuff comes up and it's just not important to me anyway.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I can relate to that. It's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And to me, if there's no interest, then I don't have anything that says we have to inquire into anything or anything. Just, yeah. And I love it when there's an interest, but then it's actually
yeah,
easy.
yeah. Thank you, Isaac. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Beautiful question. Oh, mom.
Hello, Isaac.
Hi.
Yesterday, I watched one of your earlier interviews where you shared that after meeting Papaji and knowing the truth, you found yourself like still looking at patterns, and you saw that when you wake up in the morning, there's like this tension that you need to do stuff, like there's a list of things, and then you manage to overcome this pattern. So I see in myself like something similar, and it seems like it's like survival fear. I have
Mm,
this idea that I have to work, even though
mm,
maybe I don't want to work,
mm,
but I don't know how is it possible to live in this world without working. So
mm.
it always feels like have to, like obligation.
Yeah.
And I see that this survival fear is at the bottom of this. So
Mm.
how do I look at it to come out of this fear?
So there's a scene that something's playing in your system that's existential, feels like life-threatening, you could say like that. And so for me, I would say just in this moment, right now, is your life threatened at this moment?
No.
No. Okay, so you can see there's something, there's a thought or an old impression, you could say, that's coloring this moment and producing the release in your system of chemicals and a sense of pressure and a sense of not being at ease. And oftentimes, if it's something that we're familiar with from very young, it just feels normal. It doesn't even really show up on our radar. You know, oh, how are you? Fine. Yeah. But underneath, there's a sense of pressure, sense of having to. So then just being with that feeling of having to, and honoring it. So somehow this feeling of having to is here, not fighting with it, not trying to change it. This is that feeling of having to. And so you're just present to it. And in a way, you could say, thanking it for working so hard all these years to help you staying alive. But then, but then coming to this moment and seeing if that feeling is necessary just in this moment. Maybe it's necessary in the next moment, but just this moment. Is it necessary or useful right now?
Mm. I think that I see this now, like the chemical part of it and the fear, like
Mm.
energy. I can see it and I can like come down. But I just realized that there's another part of this conflict. I was thinking, but okay, I can be calm about it.
Mm.
I may not experience fear, but what is the practical solution? And I'm thinking to
So,
myself,
yeah. So that's jumping ahead of yourself.
"No,
Okay. So we're here now, and there's this idea of a practical solution. All of that is part of that organization.
mm,
And so as soon as your attention goes, what's the practical solution? That same feelings in the body.
mm,
It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's trying to help you. But in this moment right now, just checking and seeing if it's necessary or useful. It might be necessary in the next moment, but just in this moment, we're just looking. That's it.
mm." And so if I don't
So you're just
If
answering that question. You're just answering that question. Is it necessary right
no,
now?
it's worrying is not necessary. Yeah, I
Okay,
see.
cool. So you've seen that, you've looked, and without trying to change anything or fix anything, you've given your system information. It's not necessary right now. Thank you for trying to help me, and I can just see that in this moment it's not necessary. And then just see how your nervous system responds to getting new information just now. Maybe there's no response, maybe there's some subtle response.
It responds with joy, like happiness.
With
Oh,
joy.
like freedom. Are we free
Okay,
now?
cool. Yeah, yeah. So you just and you see that, and the response came joy, and you didn't die.
No.
So yeah, so what's happening is you're reestablishing trust with your your capacity to see. It's not necessary in this moment, and you didn't die. So you're reestablishing trust with your discernment, the capacity to discern. It's not necessary. So then for me, I just repeated that many, many, many times. Just, okay, in this moment is it necessary? No. In this moment is it necessary? No. And just watching my system starting to be able to breathe, starting to be able to rest more. So it isn't like I overcame it. It's like I really inquired into it. I was really present to it, honoring, thank you. I see maybe, that's how my ancestors survived. Maybe it was necessary then, but is it necessary now in this moment? No. Okay.
Hmm. And in the external world, did you continue like maybe you had a job or I don't know, something that you were continued what you were doing or you stopped it?
To me, it was never about um, orienting like that. It was just about dealing with the pressure that was there, regardless of the job, regardless of anything. It was just running 24/7. So to me, I could see that the circumstance could change, but that pattern was just playing in the background. It had nothing to do with the circumstance.
Mm.
And in a certain sense, um, somehow I know that whatever needs to be done in order to survive, I could say that I would do it. Whether it's cleaning toilets, doesn't matter. It's not related to, I always know that there's opportunities uh, but that drive, that if that's there, it doesn't matter what the circumstance is, it's playing. And so for me, it was more important just to look at that pressure and then without it, then seeing how life wanted to move, because I do trust it will move in its integrity, it'll find what's right for it. But it's very hard to see. I mean, it's almost impossible to see when we're stressed. When we're stressed, we just aren't uh, in tune. It's like you can see if there's a tsunami or an earthquake coming, the animals know it, they can feel it. And if they can, they'll get out the way. But human beings, if you're 5 minutes late for even a coffee appointment with a friend, and we're running and you're stressed, a tsunami happens and you don't even notice it. It's like it's crazy. We're out of tune. So it's just like it's that shift from being out of tune and pressured as a habit to
That is so true. I see now why I cannot feel what I need to do because
Yeah,
of this tension.
yeah,
So
yeah,
true. Yeah, and I see that my mind is trying really to jump ahead, like he's bombarding me with this question, but we need a solution. Like, give me a
yeah, yeah.
solution.
It's part of that's part of that whole mechanism. So it's not wrong, it's not bad. You know, it's just like at a certain point, it's like,
Thank you so much for these beautiful pointers. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Oh, Louise.
Hi, Isaac.
Hey, Louise.
Mm. Mm. Thank you. Mm. Mm.
Shanti.
Hello, Isaac. Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
Shanti.
So I'm feeling a little disease in the system due to some nonsense going on in my life. I'd rather just turn the page on. But I got quite an aggressive email after a misunderstanding with my lawyer, so on the same team, but being quite hostile. And it's really triggered some justice wounding and feeling like this is not fair, this is crazy, what's going on. And without going into detail, I received a bill from before Christmas from work they claim to have been doing in 2022. And it's just the agreement was to bill me, as the work was completed, and that was always the way. And all of a sudden, because of a misunderstanding, this bill's been produced, and it feels like it's punitive measure.
Yeah. So look, like the details actually don't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, because there's an understanding or a knowing that it doesn't make any sense to suffer, to not feel at ease. And yet unease is happening. So from that, you can see that it's not conscious. There's something going on underneath the surface.
Yes.
And that you're not doing. So it's like, and every time you go to it, it's like, let's say the system just wants to run with it.
Yeah.
It goes into its perspective, and it's a perspective that might even be correct, but there's emotional charge with it. And so, look, I think all of us know that, we all experience that. It's like, it's a human phenomenon. It's just like, even though there's a deep knowing, it absolutely makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
That obviously you're going to deal with it as skillfully as you can, but then that feeling that that's uncomfortable, you could say. Yeah. So somehow that's playing too. It's just like it's there. You just see you're not doing it. It doesn't mean anything about you. It came by itself, and it's got a certain momentum that wants to, our attention gets caught in that. In it.
Yeah. I'm not angry about it. It's just like, I have to deal with this now. It's like
Yeah, I
everything's going
understand.
so nicely, and then
Yeah.
boom, and it's like, oh, yeah, but you have to get to the end of it. It's not like you can just leave it and
Yeah.
think it's going to go away.
Yeah. So, I would say it's never about the content. And, because what tends to happen when something like that's going on is we try to find people that will agree with our position. And, but it just keeps us in discomfort in a funny kind of a way.
Yes.
So there's a discomfort there. And recognizing it doesn't mean anything about you, it's just touching old material. And it's not trying to solve it, it's not trying to fix it. It's more like, okay, there's discomfort. It's not, yeah, who knows where it comes from? We don't know. And there's a strong wanting to get away from that discomfort.
Yeah. And that's why I didn't want to go into the story, because it is creating that, I want you all to agree with my side. I'm the victim here. And that victim story is so ugly to me. It's just horrible to present yourself to people as a victim of this and that. And I haven't talked to anybody about the details. It's just like, I have to get through it.
So if you'd like, you can take this opportunity. there's a sensation or a feeling that your system really wants to get away from it. And just taking a moment then to just dip in, just to let it be here, not trying to figure it out, not trying to stop it, not trying to fix it, not making it mean anything, just gently present.
Yeah.
Feeling that, just resting with it. Welcoming if you can, to here. Well, doesn't mean anything about you, doesn't mean anything about anything, actually. It's just touching some uncomfortable old information.
And I happened to picture the lawyer, and I just felt a flow of love to him, but and maybe he's also going through something at the moment where he wants to react in this way. So, it's like you have to. It's not, yeah. So it's not me. It's not him. It's this thing.
And it's just it's like it's touching some old information in the nervous system that responds in a way it really wants to get away from that feeling.
Yes.
And it's got all the reasons why it wants to get away from that. And it's all, it's so amazing how our system wants to justify, rationalize, whatever it does, to just not simply rest, and let whatever this is be. Such a common experience, the human dimension. Compassion literally means to feel with. In German, it's mitgefühl, feeling with. Calm with, passion, feeling with. Just feeling with anyone who's present in this meeting can just feel with the sensations without doing anything to change, fix, get rid of, just,
Yeah. Thank you so much. And yes, as you were saying, or as Thomas was saying, I can feel that they're two separate things, that that's just a layer over something, over the natural state. And, that clarity is really felt and present. So it's good. Thank you.
Oh, Tammy.
Thanks. Just to rest with you.
Anything you want to say?
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Christopher. Hey, Christopher.
Hello, Isaac. Thank you. It's almost as if my system is afraid of embracing goodness.
Mm-hmm. To me, it just seems like, in our culture, we have never really been invited to simply rest.
Mm.
And so for most of us, there's been a lifetime of running to try and get what we think will make us happy or bring us peace.
Mm.
And in a way, to really rest is like letting go of all that promise that one day we'll be happy.
Mm.
But the difficulty is, as long as we're running even a little bit after the promise of one day we'll be happy, it's impossible to rest.
Mm.
So that's why for some people it feels like dying, because it's like giving up all your hopes and dreams, everything. So some people call it surrender, but it's really just seeing that was the trap. That was what was causing the difficulty, was hopes and dreams. Yeah.
It was also always a bit like having the sense since I was little, like being stuck as an observer.
Mm-hmm.
But that observer was like close to a true alive experience that was like covered.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of emptiness, but there was no aliveness in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and couldn't really participate in life.
Yeah.
And always looking for somewhere how to manage to get some happiness, let's say.
Yeah. So that was, you could say, it'll present in different ways, in how you're presented in your life as that was the hopes and dreams. One day
Yeah.
to.
So working very hard to achieve something, but never there.
Yeah.
And taking that personal. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. It became a complete identity that it won't come. Yeah.
What's so interesting is that for most of us, when we surrender, we hear it as a doing rather than as the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not so obvious. It's like maybe at one moment you hear it completely and it happens.
Yeah.
Because what I see is, in more or less subtle ways, this doing shows itself. While you're not sometimes aware of there's some doing happening.
So there's an organization that we call observing.
Mm.
And there's some subtleties in that are worth exploring. I would say it like that. From the perspective of, do we ever really know what's going on? If you really recognize that you don't know what's going on, what happens to observing then? Observing is some means of trying to know what's going on. Yeah, in a way, I would say.
While you're saying it, I can see while there's observing, there's a subtle conclusion making, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. And when you realize, okay, we don't know what's going on at all, this observing just can function when it needs to, but it's nothing. It's nothing. There's no point in kind of giving energy to it. It's a natural function that is an awareness, but ultimately we don't know what's going on. And just that resting is not knowing.
It's amazing that these mechanisms can be so subtle.
Oh, for sure.
Intelligent nonsense. I thought it today. I said we are all a bunch of idiots taking our if we're lucky, we're taking ourselves less and less serious by the day.
It's interesting just also to see that serious comes from the word series, which is to be in time. And then, so that being in time, you could say, is this seriousness, so that somehow believing time is real in some ways. It's like it's again this undermining of done knowing. Just this awareness here. It's like, you see some of these practitioners who don't have much interest in any interpretations. And what opens up then is kind of like a universal mind where you know without any effort, without, it's just some people would call it omniscience or something like that. But as long as we're distracted with interpreting and thinking we know and endless, it's like that isn't available.
Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Rishi.
Hi.
Hey, Rishi.
I've been noticing, in intimate relationships, there's this moments where you have patterns meeting patterns and then trigger meeting trigger, and it tends to re-trigger and it turns into kind of a loop.
Hmm.
And I just wanted to know if you have any words on how to break that cycle.
You know, mostly there's this idea that there's someone there. And that you're someone. When there's just, in the deep seeing that there's just patterns playing. And one of the things that happens in those patterns playing is it feels very personal.
It's the difficulty with the trigger because in the trigger mode, everything feels very personal and if
Absolutely.
yeah, the heart disconnects, so it's very uh you just get sober once it's over, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, what's interesting is to see that it functions the same in all of us. It's not personal. Like this.
It's weird because even while there's trigger, I know that there's witnessing of it,
Mm.
but the experience feels like there's awareness that there is trigger and
Mm.
there is a trigger or the
Mm.
activity of that mode of activity is there. And then even there might be an intention to calm down, acknowledge that, okay, this is just, uh, not the natural state, and then tends to calm down. But as soon as there's any stimuli that brings the trigger back, it's like
Mm.
another wave takes off and you're rolling
Mm.
wave after wave.
Mm.
Um, so it's interesting because even being aware that there is trigger is not enough to actually, come off of it. It's more like,
Well, absolutely not. Yeah.
mm,
So one of the um, usually when triggering happens, very quickly both systems are triggered, and then it feels like um, your beloved is your enemy, or like, yeah, and so it moves in into trying to get them to be different, or projecting, you could say it like that. And so if it's at all possible, just to reach out and hold each other's hands and saying that actually this has nothing to do with us. There's just old information playing here. Can we just hold hands in it together, not try to solve it? Watching that tendency to want to project it and to want to change each other, wanting to change yourself and all that stuff. But just holding hands in it together can be huge help, I'd say. If there's an interest in that. If it's genuine, there's no, it's not a ploy, or it's just like, wow, yes, triggering happens, it's clear. And that's where you could say the old information really comes up, as in the depth of intimate relating, it's going to come up. It's like that.
Yeah, the tricky part is that the interest to hold hands and just witness it just comes when the trigger is over. Because while the triggering is there, it's just, two baboons fighting each other or something.
Yeah, so that's where like at some point it's just like, wow, I can see in this moment it feels like we're enemies and that there's a fight, but actually not my interest. So as much as it, like that old information wants to pull me into that perspective, I'm not interested. Here's my hands.
Mm.
And, it's not even for the benefit of your relationship or anything. It's really for the benefit of all beings, because we all know that experience. So to the extent that we are able to rest and allow it to integrate in us, it actually benefits all beings, in my view.
It's something that's so common, that I I've seen in many intimate relationships this thing, but somehow when it comes to us and, you know, favorite ego person or whatever, it's just like, oh no, but I love this person. I don't wanna not here. And that's actually the pattern as well, because pushing it away or, hoping that it wouldn't happen with you particularly just makes it worse.
Really, we're dealing with old existential pathways that has been playing out in man-womankind for forever, for a long time anyway. So it's like,
Feels like that. It feels like there's some Neanderthal part of the brain that gets active when those things happen. That it's like, wow, that's more like an animal than anything, but it's there, we're
yeah,
animals as
yeah,
well, so
yeah.
it's just
And yet
learning
we have
something
the,
different.
and yet we have the capacity to reach out and say, look, actually my interest is to rest as awareness, as loving presence. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I know whatever this activation is, it will pass. And I know it's not personal to me, and I know it's not personal to you. And we just hold hands. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Esther.
Oh, can you hear me? There has been something very touching.
Mm. There is awareness here. Yeah. And just noticing any involvement with the touch, any wanting to change it or fix it or understand it. There's a touch. Touches happen. Yeah?
There is some
It'll
yeah,
pass.
fear.
You know it'll pass.
Yeah. In some sense, it's okay. It's just scaring that sensation in the body,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like shaking or moving.
Shaking your, yeah, good. Let it shake. What can the shaking do to you?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, let it shake. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There was this scary, like to showing up in this emotion and not somehow like Zen.
Everything is welcome. Really, everything is
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you.
Mm. It's just naked and vulnerable. It's beautiful.
I'm very grateful to be here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Hans. Hey, Hans.
There's not really a difference anymore between all these movements and awareness. Like there's a kind of open space from which speaking is happening, but I cannot find a sense of I. Not really. Yeah. Almost my interest in all these relationships is a little bit gone as well, because normally I'm so interested in all these relationships and to keep it alive and to be loved. And it's not so interesting from this point.
It's funny, the moment we turn it into something, it just is a flow, basically. You can enjoy the flow. That's it. Everything else gets complicated.
And it's not really a name for it. It's Oh, and I don't have to invite people to go with it or so, because it's already here. So, yeah. Everything felt so close lately.
Good. Yeah.
Hello.
I know that when I'm speaking, I'm drifting off again. And so I try to stay quiet, but I I have some sort of a difficulty to just like as if I have to stay focused or feel something that you know. Because usually it's when I'm sitting, my mind goes like you know not not crazy, but a little bit crazy. There's some resistance. There's some million things that I want to.
What is it that's aware of the mind? What's aware of, what is it that's aware of?
Yes, that's here.
That's all. That's it.
Yeah.
Your attention moves, it's okay.
Somehow I still have the idea that I have to get somewhere because not, I'm just raising my hand. Why? To go somewhere, to get something, or to go, to be, or to be in your company, or to be, but, and then something should happen. And thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you, Bettina, for hosting. Thank you all for being here.